Welcome to the Folk Keeper's Hearth, where timeless tales and ancient lore come alive. Gather round as we explore the myths, legends, and fables that have been passed down through the generations, keeping us connected to our ancestors and the old ways. Do you have your cup of tea? Have you pulled up a chair? It is time. Let us begin. The Swan Maiden. In the elder days, when the veil between worlds was thin, many tales were woven from both wonder and sorrow. This is one such tale, of swan women who danced between sky and stream, and of a mortal man whose longing bound him to a fleeting glimpse of the other world. Not all bonds are gentle. Not all loves are freely given. Yet, in these stories, hidden deep within, lie whispers of the old truths, that beauty and freedom are precious, and that to seize what is not freely offered may bring both joy and loss. So listen now with the heart as well as the ear, as we step into a story as luminous and fragile as the feathers of the swan. A young peasant in the parish of Melby, who often amused himself with hunting, saw one day 3 swans flying toward him, which settled down upon the strand of a sound nearby. Approaching the place, he was astonished at seeing the 3 swans divest themselves of their feathery attire, which they threw into the grass, and 3 maidens of dazzling beauty step forth and spring into the water. After sporting in the waves a while, they returned to the land, where they resumed their former garb and shape and flew away in the same direction from which they came. One of them, the youngest and fairest, had, in the meantime, so smitten the young hunter that neither night nor day could he tear his thoughts from the bright image. His mother, noticing that something was wrong with her son, and that the chase, which had formerly been his favorite pleasure, had lost its attractions, asked him finally the cause of his melancholy, whereupon he related to her what he had seen, and declared that there was no longer any happiness in this life for him if he could not possess the fair Swan Maiden. "Nothing is easier," said the mother. "Go at sunset next Thursday evening to the place where you last saw her. When the 3 swans come, give attention to where your chosen one lays her feathery garb. Take it and hasten away." The young man listened to his mother's instructions, and betaking himself the following Thursday evening to a convenient hiding place near the sound, he waited with impatience the coming of the swans. The sun was just sinking behind the trees when the young man's ears were greeted by a whizzing in the air, and the 3 swans settled down upon the beach, as on their former visit. As soon as they had laid off their swan attire, they were again transformed into the most beautiful maidens, and springing upon the white sand, they were soon enjoying themselves in the water. From his hiding place, the young hunter had taken careful note of where his enchantress had laid her swan feathers. Stealing softly forth, he took them and returned to his place of concealment in the surrounding foliage. Soon thereafter, 2 of the swans were heard to fly away, but the 3rd, in search of her clothes, discovered the young man, before whom, believing him responsible for their disappearance, she fell upon her knees and prayed that her swan attire might be returned to her. The hunter was, however, unwilling to yield the beautiful prize, and, casting a cloak around her shoulders, carried her home. Preparations were soon made for a magnificent wedding, which took place in due form, and the couple dwelt lovingly and contentedly together. One Thursday evening, 7 years later, the hunter related to her how he had sought and won his wife. He brought forth and showed her also the white swan feathers of her former days. No sooner were they placed in her hands than she was transformed once again into a swan, and instantly took flight through the open window. In breathless astonishment, the man stared wildly after his rapidly vanishing wife, and before a year and a day had passed, he was laid with his longings and sorrows in his allotted place in the village graveyard. So, the Swan Maiden was lost to him at last, as fleeting as a dream upon waking, as distant as the stars reflected in still water. With feathers reclaimed and form restored, she rose into the night sky, returning to the realm where no bonds could hold her, where wild waters meet the wind, and the daughters of air and stream are forever free. Bound by longing, the hunter faded from the world, his heart ever chasing the shimmer of white wings beyond reach. And though his tale is now but a whisper among village stones and wind-swept fields, it is said that on quiet nights, when the moon rides high and swans pass overhead, one might still hear the echo of his sorrow, mingling with the soft beating of unseen wings. Thank you for joining me for this Swedish folk tale. All of the stories on this channel have been sourced in the public domain and were collected, edited, and published by folklorists in the 19th and 20th centuries. If you enjoyed this tale, I invite you to subscribe and return to the hearth for more timeless stories from the old world. Until then, may the voices of our ancestors be your guide, lighting the way through the wonder and wisdom of the past.